Welcome to Across the Desk and our new series in partnership with Maddie Dever, the Autistic Rambler. Maddie is a non-binary autistic advocate engaged in political advocacy, a parent of 5, and a very funny person. I think we're going to have a lot to talk about, and we look forward to you joining the conversation. Now let's get to rambling.
P, M, and D. Your name, our initials.
Oh, are we married? EP loves MD.
Yeah, it's not my podcast wife.
I'll take that.
Well, but I also have a podcast husband, I guess. Wow, I'm all over the place.
Well, you are non-binary, so
exactly.
So I mean, that could. So, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
So hello and welcome to Across the Desk. We're jumping in, and poor Maddie once again.
This time I have no idea where you're going, so this will be.
Oh, you will though. You will. I promise you will.
All right.
So welcome to Across the Desk. My name is Elizabeth Plouffe, and I don't like the word host.
Okay.
I'm your Yoda. Can I be your Yoda? Can I be the Yoda? It could be the Yoda.
Yoda, you must be.
I'll be Yoda. I'm your Yoda for Across the Desk.
All right.
And we're continuing with the Autistic Rambler with the ever-loving Cookie Betty Maddie Dever.
Wookie, what we have here.
What's that?
Wookie, what we have here.
Wookie. Appears to be some Star Wars going through the vein here. So I want to talk about pivoting. And there's a reason for this. So Maddie and I have been chatting over the last 2 years.
Yeah,
2 years about employment and what that looks like, and about my business and what that looks like, and all of that. And I was thinking about it this morning as well from a business perspective about pivoting. So for anybody who's ever watched Friends, what might come to mind is that scene is trying to get the sofa up the staircase.
It's iconic.
And all you hear is pivot. But sometimes that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to get a sofa up the wrong set of stairs, and your hands
and
are
you don't want
to.
And it's not church, so you don't want a holy situation.
It's not what with the who?
It's not church, so you don't want a holy situation.
A holy situation. No, that one didn't work.
You've never seen somebody's.
I'm frozen, or you're frozen. Somebody's frozen.
Probably me.
Stupid internet. No, my internet is crap right now. Thanks. They're turd burglars. So anyway, pivoting, right? So Maddie and I were just discussing an employment opportunity. And what I loved about their response is that they've identified quite clearly what they want to do. And when you are a job seeker, that can be really hard, or when you are forced into transitioning for a variety of reasons, right? So Maddie's gone through some challenges. Their background is in IT and web development and all that smarty pants stuff that makes my eyes glaze over, even though I'm a tech founder. Like I love technology. I love certain things, but the whole programming stuff that gets your jam going all jelly, it just is not for me. But life kind of went sideways, and you had some stuff happen. And now the question is, do you continue to try and build on those skills, or do you pivot?
Wow. Yes. I get my ballet shoes on and I pivot.
Do they pivot in ballet?
What's that? Yes, they do.
I don't know. I took ballet when I was 6, 7, something like that.
Pirouette is another word for pivoting.
Pirouette. Well, no, pivoting and pirouette is two different things. Because pirouette is when you spin, and pivot is when you sort of
spin.
No, not the same. But nice try. So that's what I wanted to, because you've quite magically, I would say, have pivoted. And it's hard because pivot is change.
Mm-hmm.
And change is hard for many folk, never mind those who might be dancing on the autism spectrum. So did you like that?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Like we're working now towards creating, as part of Spiro, we had started it a couple of years ago, a training on change.
Mm-hmm.
I think you and I have talked about that before.
Yeah.
And not that individuals have to change. We're not asking you to change your being or whatever, but sometimes there's habits or behaviors or whatever that get in the way. So how did you get to the point? Because a couple of years ago, you were still talking about trying to move forward with your previous skill set.
Yeah.
And, you know, how to, and then that today's sort of the first day that you've really gone, nope, I'm really.
Yeah. I think I've tried, so since I was a little kid, I have been good at figuring out things with computers. My mom taught me how to program when I was 4. She taught me how to program BASIC. So I started off with really good technical skills, and my mom taught me how to troubleshoot. My dad taught me how to be an entrepreneur. And throughout my life, I keep coming back, doing a few other things and spiraling back into IT. Doing a few other things and spiraling back into IT.
Pirouetting back to IT.
What's that? Sure. Pirouetting back into IT. But when I have found that the part of IT that I did really well, that I really enjoyed, is when I led projects, when I taught project management, when I taught change management, when I worked out finding solutions to problems. The technical side of things became more and more challenging to me through different health things that I had starting in 2008. And so when I had the car accident and all of the issues that I've had physically with that, I realized over the course of the next year and a half that trying to maintain even the smallest bit of doing the IT work that I did before was hard to do, and especially in a way that people could pay me for, because it takes more time for me to do anything. And I just found that these things they weren't interesting me anymore. They weren't empowering me. They weren't exciting me. They were just frustrating me. And what I've started doing a lot, even before the accident, but I was getting involved in doing more advocacy work. I was on a provincial panel on autism, and I started getting involved in disability organizations. And I found that I saw meaning and meaningful every time I did any bit of advocacy work, any bit of writing, any bit of speaking. There was a huge effect. It was meaningful, and I've never saw the work I did in IT as meaningful, even though I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
And so I have, over the last 3 years, more and more pivoted to, this is what I do, this is what I am. And even when even if I am having a period of time where I'm not well, I can do whatever I am ending up doing is always still meaningful. Whereas I finally hit the wall where I realized that my technical skills, my knowledge, I mean, I could probably teach it, but
that's a pivot in and of itself.
Yeah, but it's like the things that I learned in it, especially the problem solving, right? They're transferable. They're transferable skills that I'm seeing in action in, I've been doing a lot of work with parents and providers and businesses about how to understand and work with autistics. And this is where I see the value of my life. I mean, my greatest gifts are my children, and my greatest skills are the ability to help people understand things that in a way they didn't before. So what's that?
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm processing that because yes, what I enjoy about you, I mean, there's many things, and like not in a dirty way, people get your mind out together, but
It's so fabulous.
that is true. I
I'm
mean,
wearing bright. I'm wearing a bright neon pink shirt.
that is a lot for you.
Yeah, I know. I found it. It was like $8, and it's
Oh,
long
well, I
sleeve
did
too.
it as well.
It's long sleeve.
Oh,
But
and you
it's
have
thin.
little funny things.
Yes, I know. But actually, that hurts. So it's
Okay,
my
well,
thumbs are the worst. So that's like I tried putting it. I was like, no.
nope, not today.
But they're there though. It's the kind of shirt I would have loved.
Yeah, I'm actually wearing a so for timestamp, it's only September in Ontario,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's like 15 degrees. It's something chilly.
It feels like here out in the eastern Ontario, it's supposedly 20 degrees, 21
Well,
degrees.
supposedly 19 here, but I'd have to say
It feels like 15, but that's what I love about September.
so do I. I do enjoy the chili. My husband's not happy, but whatever. He's pivoting from summer to fall, and he's taking a little bit of a time. I'm more like, yeah. So what you got me thinking about there is that pivot is another form of change, right? So what we are discovering as we continue to work more specifically in the autism community, but broadly in the neurodivergent community, that change is hard. And there's this perception of risk, and there's this perception of discomfort, and there's this perception, like there's all these negative connotations around change, partly because much like my son, right, where change was forced upon him.
Mm-hmm.
And the school made him feel like he had to change way more than I did. There was definitely some stuff that we did have to change because it was getting in the way of his ability to learn. It was getting in the way of his, he wasn't feeling great about himself and, all of that kind of crap. But whenever the school went too far, I stepped in and went, nah, you need to stand down. Like, you're not gonna, So this is where I see this pivot for you. I find it really interesting because it's, like you say, it's the first time you've ever solidly said, nope, because it's so easy. If anybody's listening as an entrepreneur, it's so easy when money is on the line to fall back on what you know.
Yeah.
And not move forward in certain things. And I did that for a little bit with my MCV communications business. I had a communications and event planning business. And I developed that business concept, and I was going to help small businesses change their communications and reduce risk. Yeah. And like, I could feel the cape coming off my back. Like,
yeah,
I was going to be a superhero in helping these small businesses, screw the big guy. Like you don't need all of that. Let's keep it simple, and let's not try and rip you off, and let's make the most of your budget. Except for the fact that most small businesses don't have a budget.
Yeah.
Don't prioritize communications, and it was not great. So, but I had invested.
The same thing for IT. Like that's the same issue. Yeah, like we're talking the same language here.
So, I invested a lot of time in building that business, and I had come out of a bad employment situation. So I pivoted being an employee to being an entrepreneur pretty quickly after my graduation, because I had just graduated in, what year was that? Oh my Jesus. What year was that? 2012.
Okay. I was gonna say 2014, but that was just a guess.
It was a good guess, but not right. So appreciate the effort. But I kept banging my head against a wall, and I knew I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Wasn't getting paid what I was worth. I was getting more and more down on myself. And why can't I make this work? And I can't grow, because when you're a single entrepreneur, it's very hard to scale.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard to pivot because you have a set skill set that you've got to work with. And so it came down to, am I going to go back to being an employee, which just made me feel ill. And it was actually my mom there's two things that happened. My friend and I had a very direct conversation. And she said, "You're not happy. You need to shut this down. It's not working anymore."
Yeah.
And believe me when I say, folks, I don't build a business based on the happy factor, so it's nothing to do with that. But this was beyond not happy. Like this was this was heading into mental health issues. And I remember standing in the hallway when my mom was in the hospital and things were going sideways. And I looked at Michael, my husband, and I said, "MCV Communications is over. I cannot continue to try and build something that nobody wants." Or they shouldn't say that. People wanted it, but they wanted to take me out for coffee and pick my brain for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And, pay me $5, right? Because nobody understands the value of communications and they don't want to invest the time and energy. And I just got fed up. So I pivoted. And now I'm a technology founder. And I wonder if you've had this as well, right? So when I pivoted and I started a new business, I'm of a certain age. I'm at level 53 in life. And I was at level 49 when I began my new business. And I'm like, am I too old to pivot? Like 49 is, you're a little creaky at 49.
No, this is actually the age where, like, as we approach 50s and 60s, we.
Why did you have to say the S word?
What?
You said the S word.
Yeah, but we're not near it yet. I said when. Okay, in this latter portion, in this particular epoch of our life, where we've been in a particular job or industry for a while, and we're moving to another thing.
Somebody's frozen.
I'm not frozen. All right, can you hear me now?
Apparently something's unstable in my life, but I would say that's modus operandi.
All right. So at this particular point in our lives,
yes,
we are being many people who, especially when they're starting to or are retiring, they are left with time that they didn't have, but experience, and they find themselves doing new things. This is the time, I think, in life where we pivot most.
I kind of reached a part of my language, everybody. So there's a couple of curse words coming, but I reached fucking. And so, like, I started out in travel and tourism. I want to talk about pivots, like pirouettes. I should be dizzy by now. Started out in travel and tourism. That wasn't for me. Went back to school and did medical office administration. Did that for 13 years. Taught the program for 2 years. Got fed up with that. Pivoted again. Went into volunteer management with Girl Guides of Canada for 4.5 years. Pivoted again, went back to school, got my postgraduate in corporate communications, came out and got my first job as a communications manager for an organization. That went to shit. Pivoted again and went, I'm done. I reached F it and I went, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm not going to put up with another wackadoodle in charge of my life. If somebody's going to be screwing me up, it's going to be me. That has not been the spectacular success that I would have liked it to have been so far. But started with my communications and event planning business. And then I simultaneously opened up a hot desking office rental spot. Pivoted out of that. Yes, I have ADD.
I did that. I also did the whole let's rent an office desk space and let people in and out. I did that once too. It's an interesting. Yeah.
You could be my husband. It would be fine. What would you be? It wouldn't be husband. It wouldn't be wife. We'd have to find. You could be my Bluebeard. You could be like Al. You could be Al. You could be Al. Who? Al from Legally Blonde.
Oh yes.
We have to think of a new inclusive partner title because partner is boring.
Oh, be the third wheel.
Be my huggly buddy. So this is kind of, I know about pivoting. Like, I don't want anybody to think that I'm simplifying this. I know pivoting. I
Yeah.
know moving away. I know completely changing direction. Used to scare the ever-loving shit out of my mom, who'd be like, "What are you doing now?" Or I call my Auntie Joyce in Toronto. She'd be like, what are you doing now? Are you doing something else? So pivoting doesn't scare me.
Yeah.
But I understand how it might scare others. And that's what I want to get into a little bit, is how do we de-scarify pivoting?
Yeah, because this is what I keep saying. I've spiraled back, or I've pivoted. No, I've spiraled back to doing what I had done over and over through my life because it was safe. I knew it. But it never gave me joy, except in moments where, when you solve a big problem, it's like, woohoo, you go into a company's thing that they've been down for weeks and you fix it, woohoo. But in terms of like joy and meaning, it never did. But it's something that, like, if you're trying to go and do something different that you think is something more along what you want to do, more what I think will give you meaning, it's so easy. If that's not working, or you're struggling, or you're trying to pay rent, it's so easy to get pulled back to the thing that you were doing. And especially if you built if you spent some time in your life building that up as part of who you are, like, messing with your identity is always challenging. And I think sometimes we put too much identity into our work persona than we do to the rest of our life persona.
Okay, so true story. So first of all, if you choose, bills are bills.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Let's be real. Yeah, really,
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Here.
What's that?
We're not judging here.
No. You gotta pirouette back to what you were doing before to pay the bills. Pay your damn bills.
Yep, absolutely.
Not stick with a pivot if the pivot is making you, one missed mortgage payment from pooping in a
your
box
kids
under
need
a fridge.
To eat food and have clean socks.
Clean everything.
Even if they don't wear them, they have to have them.
Exactly. Accessibility. So I've had to pirouette back. So yeah, I'm on your side. What we're trying to talk about is the value of embracing the opportunity to pivot. Like, I just met with somebody and their fear of pivoting has kept them from new opportunities. And they're a really smart, dynamic individual that's got a lot to offer and, skill sets and whatever else. But that fear of the unknown, or that fear of pivoting, or that fear of not being good enough has sort of kept them down a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you're saying showing up at work, so first, the other thing is, I do not believe that your business should ever bring you joy, by the way, or your job should bring you joy. I know that might be counterintuitive to what a lot of people say, but I think that whole joy thing in work is bullshit, because joy is fleeting. Joy, to me anyway, should be reserved for those moments where you get the perfect cup of tea, or you find the perfect book that keeps you engrossed for 3 days and you can't put it down, or you have that moment where the sunlight hits your daughter's hair and she glows and you just look at this beautiful person that you've helped to create, or your puppy finally stops crapping on the floor, like something.
I now disagree with you. I wouldn't have, but the last 3 years, I guess, because what I'm doing is, okay, so maybe it's the difference of something that's a vocation as opposed to something being
So it's something being joyful versus something aligning with your personal values and your personal drivers. So if a job aligns with your personal values and your personal drivers, you will find more moments of joy. But getting a job to bring joy into your life that makes me a little nervous. So
I guess for me, it's been this. Since I opened a computer store when I was 18 years old. 18? Yeah. And I
level
loved
18.
what?
Level 18.
Yeah. I loved doing it. I loved what I really loved most was making connections with people, solving people's problems. But it didn't bring me joy. What I was doing is I was just selling things. I was just doing things. And it's been that battle. The things that I've done that have been meaningful, I found elsewhere than the things that were paying me.
Yeah. Okay.
Until these last few years, where there's been an alignment of the two.
Joy versus meaning, two different things.
Okay, we are really getting into it today. Woo-hoo-hoo.
So I had a conversation with this young lady, which I don't know if I've talked about before, but I'm going to bring it up because it ties into this. And she's a young lady, 20 something. And I'm like, well, bless your boots. Like, I have shoes older than you, but anyway. So like, I'm 53. I have leveled up. I'm like, I am well past the 20 something age.
Yeah, you choose your own adventure.
I do choose my own adventure. Actually, that's a lie. So I have a belt that I bought when I was 21. That still fits, by the way. That is older than this young lady. That's right. Gap leather belt lasts forever. So we're going on about business and all this kind of stuff. And she's asking me as an entrepreneur, what advice I have. And, that I'm like, oh, great. I've moved into the table of wisdom phase of my life. Bacon, coffee, and table of wisdom. So she continues on and I won't get into the nitty gritty of her thing because we eventually uncovered that her thing wasn't going to work.
Well, yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's why you need to approach people with wisdom.
That's what I'm saying. I have, wisdom sprinkles in my hair for a reason.
Yeah.
So
you've had 40 years of knowledge and now you're getting to the decades of wisdom.
Oh man, I feel so old. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. My wisdom sprinkles are hurting right now. So she asks me at one point, what about my business brings me joy? Now, we don't post videos for a reason because sometimes we are not prepared and nobody needs to see that. And so you will not be familiar with the fact that my face is really not good at hiding certain reactions. It's really not. I have resting bitch face to begin with. And then I have a really hard time keeping what I'm thinking off of my eyebrows.
Yeah, same here.
Or something, right?
Yeah. Our face is an emotional canvas.
So it's like one of them Etch-a-Sketches.
Except you don't wipe them clear.
Oh, but like within 30 seconds, my face can do 50 different emotions that, like you're Etch-a-Sketching the shit out of that.
Yeah.
So this poor young lady asks me what brings me joy. And I probably did a combination of an internal sigh with a ow, hand on forehead, ow, with an eye roll, with something else.
Jean-Luc Picard.
I Picarded that shit out of that. And I was just like, I said, what was that? And she says, what about your business brings you joy? I am not the person to ask that question, sweetheart. And I said, who told you that a business was supposed to bring you joy? Like, where did that come from? I said, here's the thing, sweetie. I'm like, how old are you again? She's like 23. I'm like, got it. And I said, okay, you don't start a business to create joy in your life. You start a business to solve a problem. You start a business to make money. You start a business that aligns with your personal values and your drivers. Mine happens to be advocacy and honesty and helping others and using my big mouth to help people whose mouths maybe aren't as loud, all those kinds of things. So as long as my business aligns with my core values and my personal drivers, I will have moments of joy, right? If I sign a contract with a new client, if I get funding for something and I know we can make a difference for people, I have a moment of joy and then I move on. I said, but under no circumstances is my business responsible for bringing joy into my life. This poor young lady's face, because that was her thing, right? She wants to start a business.
Oh my God, no.
She wanted to Marie Kondo the shit out of that.
Yeah. I was just
No,
trying to
sweetie.
remember the name. I pulled it up. It's like I was going to say that name, but you got it.
Yeah.
First.
Sorry.
Okay. So when I was a teen, people kept suggesting that I go into, doing IT, going into computers, and I said no. I don't want to go into. I don't want to go into something that I love, because I'll end up hating it. So what you're saying here is similar to how I thought, but I mean,
It's a little different, though.
What I loved doing and what I worked at doing, I saw as being two different things. This is me as a teen.
Yes.
But in the end, I ended up, because all of my skills and gifts naturally came in this area. I come from a family. I have two parents that were both they're both accountants. My mom was also a programmer, and they were
they found joy in
creative. My dad was a serial entrepreneur, and my mom was either back in the day when we had bulletin board systems instead, before the age of the internet. My mom had a bulletin board called the Procrastinator's Point. Yes, because she was definitely a procrastinator, but she pivoted into so many different things. My dad pivoted into so many different things. But I sort of naturally took that, but where I ended up being was IT. And I wonder if that whole thinking that I can't enjoy what I'm working at.
No, that's two different things. So I agree with you.
I'm just saying, I wonder if that seeped into the love of what I was doing, but not feeling any meaning out of it was confusing the moments of joy that I was getting while I was working.
But that's okay. Okay. So I'm pointing a lot right now, and I'm having my little cheerleader
I had to close my eyes because you were pointing so much that it was changing the color of the screen.
It was like
dizzy.
What is that called? Those strobe lights. I just strobed Maddie. So I've done worse to other people.
Okay, and now that's why I'm lightheaded.
Oh, jeepers. That was an unintended bonus. So they just spit their coffee.
No more water while we have this podcast. No more.
Okay. I absolutely agree and believe that your employment should align with some of your interests, right?
Yeah.
Interests, core values, drivers.
Yeah.
What it took you a little longer to find was your core driver and your value.
I didn't know my purpose. That's also part of it. It's took me about 45 years to understand and find a purpose.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's what I was trying to get Missy to understand.
Yeah.
Right. So when I was talking to Missy, that's not her name.
Hey, Missy, you're so fine. You're so fine.
So she had gone through an experience that experience was sufficient to build an entire business on. Which is why I struggled to keep my face straight, because you're 23, bless your heart. And my point to that person was, what makes your experience or voice any better or more interesting than the thousands of other people who have probably had not to diminish your experience, but it's going to be very similar to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, after we dug a little bit, what she enjoyed about it was building advocacy in others. I'm like, now you have a business.
Yeah.
Because that is a core driver for you to be of service to others, build those skills, put together the pieces of your personality. You have a vested interest and you can empathize with those individuals. So you can connect, you can do the storytelling, you can do the networking. You will have the passion for your business because it serves your core values and your drivers. Buy yourself a necklace if you need joy, because entrepreneurship is the shit. And it will suck your brains out on a daily basis if it doesn't align with your interests, your core values, and your drivers. I got her to pivot, I hope, away from my experience and my trauma. It's just going to inspire people. And I'm like, you and millions of others who clog the internet with their whining about their whatever, not undervaluing your experience. But if you want to make a business out of this, let's be strategic about what you can actually do to make a difference for other people, because that seemed to be really important to her. So I'm hoping she's pivoted more into advocacy and building skills with other people than going on the road and spreading her story, because that's just not going to pay your bills. So I tried to do that. I had a cake decorating business for a number of years because I got into cake decorating because my mom was a cake decorator as a part-time doodly-doo. She took the course when we lived in the US in like the mid 70s. I still have her cake decorating books, by the way, if you want to see some truly psychedelic color combinations. That would give you a headache.
Yeah.
So I started doing it because my mom made me gorgeous cakes. And then I went next level and added fondant work and did all that kind of stuff. So I thought, ooh, I'm working part-time. I need to be available for my kids. I like to solve problems and be creative and build things, and I could do this. Except nobody wants to pay what a custom cake is worth.
Yeah. It's a half-baked idea.
What's that? It was a very half-baked idea.
Yeah.
And I ended up.
Oh my God. My mom did this too.
Yeah. It killed it for me. Because people would be like, oh, well, can I pay you $15?
It's like,
oh, yeah. Oh, that was a good day. That was the day I started to pivot away, because I made all my cakes from scratch ingredients. There was nothing boxed. I made my own fondant. I made buttercream based icing. Like, this was next level. So, and they wanted a custom fondant themed cake, 2 levels with a filling for $15.
This reminds me of something that I've experienced all my life as an entrepreneur, is the fact that friends and family see that you do something and expect that they get it for a discount or at cost or whatever. And I love the fact that my dad never expected of me. He paid full price for everything that I did because he wanted me to know that the price I set, the price I set, right? You give discounts for volume, not discounts for favors.
Well, this was this could be somebody I knew, somebody I didn't know.
It just made me remind my dad, like my dad was insistent upon this, that everybody else said, well, you can give this. My dad, no, he said, you set a price for this, it's worth that.
I stopped charging.
Yeah.
I stopped charging, but I also ended up stopping doing it because feeling undervalued and feeling unappreciated and knowing that people had no clue how much time it would take to do these cakes.
Yeah.
And of course, I would agree to a pretty simple design, and then I would get inspired, and I would not expect them to pay for that, right? Because if I add extra, that's on me.
Yeah.
But they would, get a little touchy about like $45 for a 2-layer sheet cake with custom.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, this is insane. So shut down MCV Communications. Here's where our pivot comes in, right? It's that I shut down MCV Communications because it was no longer, I was not able to meet any of my core values and be of service to anybody. And I don't think my heart was ever truly in it because I couldn't sell it, right? Like I could, but I couldn't. I didn't want to fight with people anymore about it. And I got ripped off too many times.
Yeah.
I shut down my cake business, shut down my office hot desking thing. And interestingly enough, though, I never felt like a failure for doing that.
Yeah. It's just an experience.
It's an experience.
It's a journey that, has a beginning and an end. And it doesn't mean that your life journey, it doesn't end. Just this one portion of your life
Good idea.
is a book.
That experiment.
Yeah, it's a book you put on the shelf, and then you're on to the next one.
And that's what I wanted to talk about, the pivoting thing, because you were successful in the IT roles and you were successful as an entrepreneur, which that on its own, right? So not to put the A word on it, but it is a challenge for a lot of autistic individuals to pursue entrepreneurship, right? Because, and not to say that you can't, we're all on board.
Because it's
like
all change, all
exactly.
Time. And
a lot of advocacy, because selling is advocacy.
The hardest thing is selling yourself.
Yep.
Like, I can sell things, I can sell ideas.
Yep.
Selling myself was always the hardest. But
Doesn't
now,
it suck baloney?
What's that?
It sucks baloney.
Yeah. But I'm at the point now where, see, again, in order to sell yourself, you have to know what your purpose is. You have to know, what is the absolute, what are you here on earth to do? And if you do not know that, you can't sell yourself fully. It's too hard. It's hard. You're putting a mask on to do it. But I now know that my purpose is seeing, the people with disabilities, people that are autistic, thriving. Anything that I do has to move that forward. Because if it doesn't, I'm probably struggling because of that thing. And it doesn't mean that that's all I do. But if things that are going to take the most of my time, the most of my energy, have to be in line with that, or else it's going to drag me and everything else I do down. And I've had to learn to focus. So that's why the IT stuff, it's not that's not that anymore, right?
No,
it's a struggle. It's so important. I could fall back to it in the past, but I can't do that now because I know who I am. I know why I'm here, and I know that I bring value with my experiences and my abilities to be able to move that forward. So I find it easier to sell myself, because I'm not selling myself. I'm selling I'm selling my experience. Myself is the package it's in, and I feel more comfortable and confident with that than I have ever have in my life.
So quite frequently throughout our podcasts, I mean, it's more fun when Maddie recognizes their own wisdom bombs. She just dropped one, but I think you skated over it a little bit. But when I recognize it and then we have a moment about it. So here's what I'm thinking. So if you haven't listened before, and it's important to establish this context, Maddie is autistic, non-binary, parent of 5 kids, 4 of who are also autistic. They advocate in a variety of ways around parenting, employment, accessibility, all those kinds of things. And they have an intersectionality where they use a motorized wheelchair. And they are very vocal within a variety of organizations. So we've had an experience walking through Toronto where I got to sort of see how Maddie has to navigate the world a little bit. But of course, I am able-bodied. What am I, cisgender? Is that what
Yep, that's right, cisgender.
Thank you. I use she, her. I'm heterosexual.
Sister and cisgender.
What is that? Is it sister, Mr.?
It's both.
There's a song. Anyway, we do periodically break out into song as well.
Today,
I'm also not autistic. I do have an autistic son. Does not give me any kind of insight. And I have been tested multiple times, by the way. So not autistic. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I don't ever want to claim anything that I am not. I am ADD, and that's pretty much the biscuit on that. So when Maddie shares something, I know that it's coming from a cool point of view that I can appreciate and empathize with, but it's the lens that they put on it that I love, which is why we do our podcast. So You just said something really interesting, which I think I'm losing the point. I had to create too much context, and then it was, kind of went out the window. Actually, I'll tie the two together. The reason that we give context is that we did a previous podcast on people talking and not talking in context with the audience. Yeah. So it's very important to us that we give the right information so that you understand why we're saying what we're saying. And your point being around how hard entrepreneurship is and using your interests to move ahead. And I wonder if it's because you said about change. I wonder if that's what gets in the way more than anything, is not understanding purpose and not aligning, nobody taking the time. There, I knew it would come up. Not taking the time to work with an autistic individual, because employment services have a cookie cutter, and coaching has a cookie cutter way of doing things that doesn't delve into this. And I think it's really important. We do. So Spiro Careers Canada, we do, because we recognize that there's a need for that. But I wonder if that's actually what gets in the way, not a fear of change, not an inability, not a, yes, executive function deficit could play havoc with things. But when nobody has taken the time to build awareness around core values, drivers, and purpose, then how the frickin' heck are you supposed to know where you're heading? Brain. No.
I've taken the time with most of my kids. Like I think I understand what their core beliefs are and core strengths. And my job is to help them to see it, to search it, to understand it, to put their own words at it so that they can then see where they should go in life. Because it is hard as an autistic to understand yourself. Why am I here is the last question that you expect autistics to be able to answer.
And it's where they need, but it's where everybody needs. Yeah. Everybody needs.
Have different needs. We just express it differently.
You know what? Oh, yes. And we have to put this video up because there's a lot of
I know.
So is it that service providers, parents, us neurotypical-ish wackadoodles don't stop and realize the importance of providing that opportunity to move into that core value, core purpose? Because that's for neurotypicals. Autistic people don't need that.
I know it's on it. Okay, I think neurotypicals tend to acknowledge it, internalize it, and go with it. Whereas it's one of those things that, because it's assumed part of what humans do, and we don't do it, and we don't have words to it, that we find ourselves stuck. So many times we get stuck, and we don't, we've gone down a path because people have put us on that path, and we need pivoting. Understanding the need to pivot is harder for us because I think people naturally pivot. I think no. What I mean, okay. I think no. People, neurotypicals, learn how to go with the flow better than autistics do.
You know what I think it is? I think the tools to go with the flow are more accessible.
Yes.
And more. Okay. Oh, it sounds like I'm having a moment.
I have a meeting to get to.
I know.
Very shortly. So I'm going to give 3 minutes and then I have to say go bye.
Oh my God. This is that bad day for them.
Part 2 on Friday.
We're going to have to. Oh, no.
I got 2 in an hour.
We'll see.
Part 2 in an hour.
So there's 3 things. One is, I think part of the challenge is the assumption by support services that autistic individuals aren't interested in learning about those things, right? Which drives me bananas. Then number 2, that the materials are not accessible in that capacity, right?
Yep.
And 3, the assumption by people that issue is actually a fear of change versus understanding where I'm going. So if you want me to pivot, it's not that I'm afraid of change, but you haven't made it clear why I need to do that.
Okay.
And how.
In the schools, I think so much effort is made to have autistics present and compliant that they're not spending the time to prepare us to move forward.
Agreed. Completely and 100% agree.
We're on a treadmill. We're not in a marathon. And it's only when we learn that we're on the treadmill. Yeah.
One in the airport.
We're going alongside everybody else, but like we're not actually moving forward because we don't know that we're on the damn treadmill. Take us off the treadmill and let us be part of the rest of the race. We're going to go farther. But when we don't have the tools, there's so many, we're not given the same academic opportunities. We're not same life skills opportunities. There's this intrinsic thinking that we might not be able to do something. So we're not given the same skills and the same opportunities to do something. So we don't get the words. Like we
don't get the tools because people think you don't need the damn tools. But meanwhile, the tools are the key.
Yeah.
Of course, change is scary. Of course, asking somebody to change is scary. Of course, navigating a pivot is scary.
Put in co-op. Let autistics be in co-op. If we might need more support, fine. But if we don't give the things like that an opportunity, you are cutting off so many possibilities. Because co-op is where a lot of kids learn for the first time. Hey, this is work. This like school is this kind of life. Work is this kind of life.
Yep.
It's different.
My son did co-op, thank God. But I also have not allowed him to get. Anyway, that's a whole nother story.
All right.
You got to go.
This has been a non-podcast podcast brought to you by
letter P for pivot. Ooh. Like I appreciate that. As soon as you said that, the whole Ross Geller couch thing came up, and I knew it was. Maddie's very forgiving because I periodically spring these things on them, and they come along, and then we have some wisdom bombs. And
6 Wednesdays in a row, we've done a podcast that we have sprung. So it's not indifference anymore. It's the thing. This is what we are doing. And I'm fine with that.
Because you pivoted, because at first you needed the calendar and the thing, and then we just
created a routine. We caught most of the routine, and now we're able to go with the flow. Because
that was really good. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. Maddie's got to jump, and I'm making them late. So we appreciate you coming on. Ooh, look at that. Dive her down. So
more Superman fly away. I was jumping.
Were you?
I had to jump.
It looked more like you're going off a deep.
I can't actually jump, so it was a fake jump.
It was an accommodated leap. There we go.
I have to move the camera up to leap.
Oh, stop it! You're gonna make me dizzy.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, now I'm looking at bunny rabbits. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I think we're going to continue. There was something in this. We're going to continue. So that means I got to get my little ass moving to process it and get it up. Thank you, Maddie.
You're welcome.
All right. They've got to jump. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. I got to really jump, so I'm going to jump.
Thank you for joining us on Across the Desk and our new series, The Autistic Rambler. Please visit spirocareerscanada.ca to learn more about the tools we're building with the autism community, and please visit theautisticrambler.com to learn more about Maddie Dever.